And welcome everyone to my very first Facebook Live video. So, hello everyone, and welcome to my very own Facebook Live video, my first one for KOI Tutoring Services. So, I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great week. It's Friday night, and this is the weekend edition, and I'm calling it Worthwhile Weekend for October 22nd and 23rd of 2022. And today we're going to focus on KOI Tutoring Services Fundamental number 5. Uh, Tutoring excellence requires face-to-face teaching expertise. We covered numbers 1 to 4 this week relating to identifying obstacles. We talked about dismantling false narratives, scaffolding, leveraging what we know in order to venture into the unknown and gain new knowledge, and also harnessing the amazing potential of online learning to build student success. Now we'll discuss face-to-face learning briefly, and then we will cover the skill areas that KOI Tutoring Services covers. All right, so I really want to talk about face-to-face teaching expertise because this is pretty important when you're choosing a tutor. All right, and why is that important? Well, face-to-face teaching is obviously the foundation for learning for many of us, and that's that's just the reality. So either there's engagement or there's disconnect, and there's a lot of common interests that need to be tied into, and real life experiences that need to be tied into in order for effective teaching to happen. And I use teaching and tutoring interchangeably, obviously, right? Because tutoring is typically in a one-to-one session, and that's what I offer. And either virtually or person to person, like in the same room, working on something together. And it's usually going to be through the use of computers and so on. But bottom line is we're having a face-to-face conversation, right? And it could be shuffling papers and looking through a grade 10 science textbook or what have you. The bottom line is there has to be interaction, right? And so these fundamentals all build upon one another, and that certainly connects to the building and pathway metaphors that I've introduced earlier in the week. So we are surrounded by distraction in our culture, in our society, and in our schools and in our classrooms. And the number one distraction that people of all ages who are connected to technology in some way face is the distractions that come out of the phone that's in your hand right now, okay, or the phone that you use to, as an alarm clock and for everything else. So that's just the way it is. So when I'm talking about face-to-face teaching expertise, teaching in 2022 and certainly in the last 10 years has really involved trying to stay ahead of the tsunami of cell phone and smartphone overuse. Because the apps that we use really serve to distract us. Sometimes they're useful, but if you look back on my welcome and about page on the site, you'll see what parents say and what students say and some of the struggles that they have in learning. And smartphones are definitely a tool as well as almost a hopeless distraction. So we know this to be true, and maybe as parents you're watching this and you're thinking, yeah, well, I'm distracted by them. Okay, well, so we all are. So one thing that I definitely cover, and this relates to being an effective teacher today, self-regulation has to be taught. It's nowhere in the curriculum, okay, and it really ought to be in every course. So that's my kind of sales pitch for responsible technology use. And the bottom line is we all need to figure out how to get ahead of it and how to use these tools instead of having these tools use us. So that's a big deal when I talk to my tutoring clients. All right, and there are certain self-regulation tools that I can share and that I can help teach. Okay, so that's the fifth fundamental about the importance of teacher expertise and meeting learners where they're at. All right. So I hope that made some sense to you. Now what I'd like to do is unpack briefly what kind of skill areas we cover and that I offer some help in. Okay. So skill areas are typically math, science, French, usually about up to grade 10. English, paragraph writing, essay writing, reports, history, civics, indigenous studies, career planning. I spent a lot of time, put a lot of work into career planning, certainly in the grade 10 careers course. And also the online teaching platforms, how to navigate them, how to use them, how to benefit from them, and how to manage your frustrations with them. And also just, learning how to use helpful, powerful tools, across devices that can really, really help you learn, okay? And that can help you share what you know and the knowledge that you've gained. I profiled some of them yesterday, and looking at just some of those apps. And it's not about using the app just because you can, or just because the school board makes it free this year, or what have you. It's really about, all this technology has to be purpose driven. All right. In the past, sometimes things have come down the line and they've just been used because they're there. So we want to get ahead of that and really make things purpose driven. Also, computer tips and tricks. All right. How do you even copy paste? Like our students are at, along a wide continuum in terms of skills. All right. We make a huge mistake as parents, as educators, as advocates for young people, if we just assume that all kids these days are so connected to technology that they know how to do everything. Untrue. We all know how, young people are very skilled most often, with navigating apps, and, some have figured out coding and everything else, but there's a lot of skill holes, okay, a lot of skill gaps. And, another skill area would be making assignments and presentations that dazzle. So that's something that's, that I can definitely offer. And also, of course, smartphone self-regulation skills. So I would love to hear from you, and let me know what you think of these 5 fundamentals, if they've made any sense this week. All right. So I'm going to do Facebook Live. I'm just going to play around with the different formats. I don't want to have always the same kind of videos. But I'm really hoping for some feedback from those of you who are interested and who are exploring different tutoring options for your child. Maybe you're a student who's watching this, all right? And so I just really encourage you to reach out. I'm just looking on my other screen just at some other things that I want to encourage you to explore. Certainly, there's a lot of ways to find out more about myself as an educator. All right, you can go to the Ontario College of Teachers website and just type my name, Robert Coy, and you can find out my credentials there. And I would really encourage you to check out the website. Okay, and there are multiple ways to contact me. There's a Google form, and obviously you can see me on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Google Chat. And I've also got a YouTube channel, which is probably, which you probably assume. So there are also some processes and expectations, and there's a contract example, and there's also some references. And I've joined SuperProf. That's a really handy platform that a lot of parents use just to see the credentials of teachers, and also, most importantly, to read some of the references. So I've got 4 references so far on my SuperProf profile that I would encourage you to check out. And if you're wondering where those, if you're just on my website, I've shared those references there. All right, just if you want to hear some professional feedback of my teaching. So I will wrap it up with with one final comment, and that final comment is simply this. This is just part of my brand for Coy Tutoring Services, along with the metaphor of reaching for the light. All right, pathways, building, and it's simply this quote that people have used for a long time. It's it's a well-worn phrase, but I really believe it's true that you're smarter than you think. Now, what does that mean? Well, see if you can connect that concept to one of or more of the fundamentals, the 5 fundamentals that we just covered this week. So I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. In this, certainly in this part of Ontario, it's been quite warm, certainly today. But wherever you are watching from, I really wish you all the best this weekend. And if you are struggling as a student, I've had some people reaching out. I'm also on Kijiji, so people contact me from multiple sources. Feel free to reach out. All right, and I hope to hear from you soon. Please drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Of some things that we've talked about this week that we've covered, and we'll see you soon.